Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is the Sports Talk here, and I'm coming at you with another video. Today, I'm going to be discussing the Michigan State game, what to expect. I'm comparing both teams and how they're looking like when they face each other on Saturday. So both teams are 7-0 and have completely exceeded expectations. Most people thought both of them are going to be like a 6, 7, 8 win team at best this year. But I'm worried kind of for both teams, but at least mostly for Michigan. I'm worried that it might be smoke and mirrors and that they might not be as good as we think they are. For Michigan State, Mel Tucker's a really good coach. He's done a fabulous job with them, and I expect him to stay around for a while. I don't. I those reports about LSU. I mean, you hear about those for every good coach that's new, and I think he's going to stay there and build something with them, which I'm a little bit worried about. But hey, I respect it. So Harbaugh seems like he's been a little bit stubborn this year, especially with running the ball. It doesn't look like he wants to get the full potential out of his offense if they have one. But I mean, they're running the ball and they do it very well against not so great teams. Um, they're one of the best in the country, and that's really the only way they can be explosive is by running the ball. They've had a couple big plays here, but every time it seems like Cade McNamara throws a ball down the field, it's getting underthrown or just misplaced, and he just floats the ball up there with no arm strength. It's very frustrating. It's like Jared Goff, except one team's 0-7, one team's 7 now. Like I don't, they're both like the same quarterback somehow. I really am not sure how good MSU really is. They have explosive playmakers at the wide receiver and running back position. They have a decent QB. Nothing. He's not great. He didn't do very well against Indiana. Peyton Thorne, and they don't have a great offensive line. Their defense is solid, but I don't think they're a great defense. They just haven't played very good teams, and they don't really have many playmakers. So that's what I think is going to be the problem for them. Michigan has a 15th ranked scoring offense, and Michigan State has a 19th ranked scoring defense. And Michigan's one of the best running teams in the country at number 5. And MSU is okay at stopping the run. They're number 28th, but they give up 119 yards a game. But Michigan offensive line is just much more dominant, I think, than their defensive line. I think this whole game is going to be about the trenches, and I think Michigan wins that battle on both sides. Um, but Michigan State's also one of the worst in the country in the pass game, 121st in the country. Gave up 285 yards a game, which is Michigan's weak spot. They are not very good at throwing the ball. They're one of the worst in the country as well. And Michigan has some playmakers at receiver. Cornelius Johnson, he's a really good wide receiver. He just needs to get the opportunity sometimes. He gets downfield passes, but they're just not thrown very well. Dalen Baldwin is a good playmaker, and Mike Sanderson is very fast. So we just got to get those guys in space, and Cage just got to get it to them. That's really all it is. And with Michigan State's corners, they're not very good. So we should be able to take advantage of that because they won't be able to stack the box against our run. Because, yes, we will want to run the ball, but if they can't stop the pass, they got to be worrying about that too. Michigan should be much more dominant on both sides of the ball. Like I said, they have one of the best O-lines in the country, and they have playmakers. They have NFL players on that defense, something that Michigan State doesn't necessarily have. MSU's offense is very explosive. They have Kenneth Walker. He's going to be in the Heisman running. Jaden Reed and Jalen Naylor, they're very speedy, fast, explosive playmakers. And Kenneth Walker is a beast and probably one of the best backs in the country, probably the best. And MSU averages 200 yards a game rushing the ball. And Michigan allows 116, which is solid. But Michigan's front seven and their D line is better than Michigan State's offensive line. And they have NFL players, Aiden Hutchinson, David Ojabo, Chris Hinton, and Josh Ross will all be playing on Sundays. And they have a playmaker in the secondary who I think will be the X factor, and that's Daxton Hill. Michigan, I think they will be able to handle the offensive line. I don't know if they'll be able to handle Kenneth Walker. He has more yards after contact than most running backs have just in general. So it's all about stopping him. He can make plays out of nothing. And like I said, they have very speedy receivers, Jaden Reed and Jalen Naylor. They live off the big play, which is something that MSU has never really had in the past. But Michigan corners can look a little bit suspect at times. Ahmad Green, he can get burned. So it's all about controlling the big plays with Daxton Hill back there deep. He also can play up and stop the run. I think he's going to be the X factor. I think he's going to be making plays for the Michigan defense to limit the big plays for MSU. And I think that's going to be the winner for this. And I am worried about Michigan in the long run this year. I think everyone realizes that J.J. McCarthy is probably the more talented QB even right now. But McNamara just hasn't exactly done anything to lose his job. He doesn't turn the ball over. he can make the short passes, but that's really it. And it's kind of hard to watch, especially the Northwestern game. There's every downfield ball he had was just not put in the right place. It just flutters up there, no zip on it. And then you see McCarthy running around avoiding sacks and then throwing a strike across the field. I mean, he makes plays that not a lot of guys can make. And I think he is a better QB, and I wish we would have gotten him ready more early. Uh, I just don't like the he comes in for like read options and take him out. I wish they just keep him in for a few drives, see what he can do. Maybe him throw the ball, see how he works in just normal situations. Can he make the short passes like McNamara does all the time? Can he make those without throwing interceptions much, but still complete the downfield pass like we see this year? He's had 2 like 60-yard bombs, and we've only seen like one of those from McNamara. Um, but yeah, so I am worried about them in the long run, especially against Ohio State. I just don't think they can get it done by just running the ball and throwing short passes when Ohio State's putting up 50. They can't do that. I think this game right here will be low scoring, like it usually always is. But I think this game is one in the trenches, and Michigan has consistently dominated teams up front, and Michigan State has not exactly done that. Kenneth Walker has struggled in a couple games this year against Indiana and Nebraska. He only averaged like 3 yards a carry, and both of which the offense has struggled. And Michigan, they have a really good D line, really good offensive line, and they have really good running backs that they can alternate with. So I think they'll be the winner for this. I think Michigan pulls this off 24-16. I don't think Michigan State gets their offense going very well. And I'm not trying to sound like a homer. This is just my honest opinion. I have been worried about MSU for a while, but I think they have some weaknesses. I think both teams have weaknesses, but I think MSU's will get more exposed this game. And I think Michigan's will get exposed against Ohio State. Maybe I don't think against Penn State they just did not look good, but I don't think this is going to last much longer for either team this year. So let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear from you. That's all I got for you today. Michigan pulls this one off 24-16. I will say. This is DZ out here. Peace out.